exciting Joey body chemistry update.
Okay.
I have my second shot. I am now
Yeah.
about 2 weeks away from being, quote, fully vaccinated, or at least whatever we think that idea of something is in April 2021 timestamp episode. Um, I
Did you get
went
any
on
side effects?
I went on Friday, got the
Okay.
shot. I have never bled more from a needle in my arm, and
Mm.
the nurse was like, "Oh yeah, this happens sometimes," and I'm like, "Yeah, oh yeah, like it's not a big deal. Like it doesn't bother me. I'm not upset." And she's like, "Yeah, I mean it just happens," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to let you know that like you probably stuck a needle in a bunch of grumpy people today. Like I'm bleeding. It's fine. Okay, maybe you gave me a bad shot. I don't mind. I'm gonna get over it." And I was just giving her the opportunity to be like, "Oh, thank you," or "Cool. I appreciate your attitude," or at least hear me out. A smile, which I guess you can't see under the mask, but like an attempt at a smile. But instead, she was just not having it. Like I did not make her day any better,
She's
and
like, I'm
she
giving you life-saving medicine. Just shut the fuck up.
she made me bleed, Cap.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to
In more
have
than more
big
one ways than
things
one.
of blood coming after you get an injection.
Uh-huh.
You said side effects, and the thing about side effects is that the day before Friday, which is when I got my shot, is Thursday because that's generally how calendars work.
Yeah.
And the person who was staying with me for the last couple of weeks, who was a fellow Team Liquid employee, got a vaccination at the office because last week in Los Angeles, you could open up to like concierge vaccines for anyone 16 and older. So,
Oh.
so Liquid had someone come into the office basically to vaccinate all the players, first and foremost, and like the team because it's now the off season, but also anyone who was Los Angeles based staff who hasn't gotten a vaccine yet could have come in to get their first vaccine. So super cool. I like super cool that they did that. The guy I was staying with actually got his second dose because he got his first one back in New York, and he was just in the right window on that day they were giving the shots to the players to get dose number 2. And he got it, and a couple hours later he called me. He's like, "Hey Joey, can you take me home from the office?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can come pick you up," because he didn't want to walk or take an Uber. I'm like, "Whatever, it's not a big deal." I'm like, "How you feeling?" He's like, "I'm a little dizzy." Like, I'm okay, whatever. I'm like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's get you home, buddy." Get him home, grab some Gatorade for him, some Pedialyte. He takes a big nap. He wakes up, doesn't really eat dinner. Says he doesn't feel too well, has like a headache, asks for some Advil. And then a couple hours later, at about 11 p.m., I just hear him vomiting.
Oh.
And the reason why I heard him vomiting is it's not that I heard the upheaval.
Yeah.
I heard the distinct splashing that sounded like not the toilet or the sink or even the bathtub. This is definitely I woke up from a cold sweat in the middle of sleeping and immediately yacked on the floor.
Yikes.
And meanwhile, this guy has been living in my apartment for 2 weeks. We don't really know each other. He's not having a good night. And now, to compound on the fact that he definitely has a fever, threw up, feels like shit, he's now like, "Joey, what do you have to clean this? I'm so sorry." And normally, I feel like I am really good with most body secretions. Like, if
Okay.
that man would have shit on the floor, I would have had no problem calling the pooper scooper and being like, "Dude, don't worry, I got you. Those turds, they're mine. Just lay in bed."
Mm-hmm.
Vomit really does it for me. I'm someone who doesn't really handle other people's vomit well. More so the smell than anything else. I'm sure describing it actually doesn't even make some people happy. So my apologies, maybe. And I'm just like, man, here's here's a whole roll of paper towels. Here's a full bottle of 409. Here is a empty trash bag. I am very sorry. And here's a fan. Open the window. Um, so this dude has a fever, vomit on the floor. TLDR. I now wake up the next day and go, well, fuck. I gotta get my dose 2 today. And I've heard the full gambit of side effects from nothing to vomiting on the floor. So really was a crapshoot of what was going to happen to me. And I am happy to report that the extent of my problems was Friday night, Saturday morning. I think that I had a low-grade fever in my sleep because I was definitely having what I would describe as fever dreams that were just vivid and like confusing. I was like running around a TI arena upset at myself because I couldn't like find the right angle to take the right picture.
That's the 5G mind controlling device calibrating.
Fuck. It's sending all of my subconscious thoughts and worries about not being able to get proper photography to Bill Gates personally. Yeah, so I just had fever dreams. I didn't really have a headache. My arm was super sore. I got a really sore arm again. But all things considered, second dose, I think I got it much more mild than most people. No real side effects. And now I'm just average Joe, normal person. I'm chilling. I'm excited. I am thinking about going to Vegas in this summer. Call me crazy.
I know a lot of people are thinking about it.
I really want to do something. I desperately want to do something. And when you're in Los Angeles, it's just so easy to go there. It's like a 4-hour drive.
Well, if you want some company, maybe Allie and I will come with you.
Oh, fuck. We should plan a Vegas trip.
Vegas trip.
That's an offline the podcast conversation, but I am there.
I haven't been to Vegas since we moved to LA. I don't know why. Then the pandemic happened, and then it was just like
Vegas.
Missed our opportunity.
It's true. Vegas is the. I really, really, really don't drink much. I think I've talked about it before on the show. I would call it pretty seldom. I probably consume alcohol 2 times a month, and both of those times are less than 2 drinks. I probably get drunk twice a year, depending on the status of parties. Last year, basically 0. And Vegas is the one place that I basically go, oh, it's okay if I can just consume a bunch of stuff I don't like, get shit faced, and then like walk around.
Just
public.
be day drunk.
Yeah.
It's the kind of all day.
I associate it in my head with just being able to not care a little bit and just do that, which is nice.
Yeah, the only time I've been to Las Vegas was for work, for that WSOE event. So
I think Vegas doesn't have a good reputation.
Experience that. Yeah.
But I would put forth that Vegas has, generally a great economy with almost anything you want to do there. There's so much tourism stuff that you could basically do anything you want to do, even if it's not like gambling or casinos. Like, they have some of the best escape rooms. They have, stuff like Topgolf. They have like a bunch of stuff that's just.
They have stuff like what?
Topgolf.
Oh yeah.
Just like fun stuff, right? And also like I think they have some of the best food in America too, because they try so hard. Like, if I had to make, it's like, for me, it's like Los Angeles, New York, Vegas.
When I was there for WSOE, we gambled every night. Went to the casinos because we were staying in one of the hotels that had the casino. So we went every night. Those of us who worked that event, it was fun and stuff, but I never got to spend an actual day of just pure debauchery in Vegas. The right before I had to go to my flight, I did that classic thing. I felt like I'll just go gamble on the tables a little bit before I have to leave. And I was just sitting one on one at a blackjack table, and the dealer was this older lady, and we're making conversation back and forth. And she asked where I lived, and I said I live in Glendale, and she looks at me and she's like, "You're not Armenian," because she was Armenian, and she just knew. She was just like, "You're not Armenian. Like, what? Why do you live in Glendale?"
It's really funny.
For those of you who don't know, it's just there's a part of Los Angeles called Glendale that is well known for just being where all the Armenians live.
It's true. It's very true.
Just kind of what Los Angeles is, just little pockets of various cultures.
I love diversity.
Makes for good food.
It does. That's all. It's true. And I actually don't care about people. Really. I just care about my calorie intake. If I'm being brutally honest. Man, that's
why a melting pot is good, because the stew that comes out of it is so good.
Thank you for making that better than I literally ever could have. I remember that for next time I have to have this conversation with someone. That's the extent of. No, I did do one other interesting thing since the last time we've talked, and that is I know that a couple episodes back I went through my saga of cryptocurrency on the podcast.
Oh yeah, somebody asked me to ask you, how's your Doge doing?
I took all of the Doge that I have left, which is 50,000, which is still not nothing to laugh at. Mind you, to harken back to the story, I had 800,000, which right now is worth over $300,000. Which, when I actually, on Friday, I found out that Doge was making a giant run. I saw on Twitter when I was on set, and I saw that it was like just crossed 20 cents. And I was at work. I like felt myself go pale, and then I wanted to I went to the bathroom because I thought I was gonna vomit, because all I could think about was like the potential that I lost out on again.
Oh no!
It took me a couple minutes to leave the bathroom, but it's fine, and I think I'm in a good mental spot now. I'm sure if Dogecoin reaches like $1, which I don't think it will, then I'll also have another similar crisis moment to know, oh, I could have bought a house. I could have bought a house. I could have bought a house. I sold a bunch of keyboards on Dogecoin eBay, and then I could have bought a house 5 years later. I'm such a fucking idiot. That might happen. I'm okay right now, though. And I'm not just saying that. I know that I am. I did, however, take the last little bit that I had, like in my offline wallet, and brought it into an online exchange, because I am prepared to sell it at literally any moment right now. Before I wasn't, because it was all offline. Like I couldn't trade or anything. But now I am ready to press the sell button, because I truly don't believe that. I think like at time of recording on early Tuesday morning, it's like 40 cents. And today is like 420. Blaze it. And it's supposed to be like a day where people are going to pump the shit out of it and like meme a bunch of Dogecoin. So I'm just going to watch the chart all day and eventually sell probably all of it.
Without fail, I think this metric has been the best determination of crypto, stocks, fucking the Tulip Exchange, any of those sort of meme currency things, is that it's that like little thing about story of a stockbroker, like really, really early on before the first market crashed. And he knew to pull his money out because he went and like got his shoes shined, and the shoe shine boy was talking to him about stocks, and he was like, "Okay, like this has gone too far. Like this has become a craze." And the point is that it hits a craze, then that's when the bubble is gonna pop.
I don't need to
And
sell.
I feel like that's true every single time. As soon as GME goes mainstream, as soon as Dogecoin is being tweeted out by celebrities and stuff, it has reached craze point. And now the bubble is fucking just about to burst. It'll expand real rapidly, maybe, but it's gonna burst.
I don't care if I sell not even close to the top. I'm probably not going to do it all at once. I'll probably like break it out into a couple chunks, maybe average it out over the course of whatever makes sense, right? But I anticipate that unless something really wild happens tomorrow, that I will sell all of it to diversify in the next 48 hours. Very high likelihood that happens. I do not believe that it is worth this much money or truly sustainable at all, and is just a craze. And I'll probably, if it bursts, I'll buy back in, later, and I'll happily play with it again. But I'm looking to actually divest into other cryptocurrency that has like a use case and a purpose and something that I believe in 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember last time when I was here, I said that if I was home, I would have sold my ETH.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reached that point again where I looked at the price, and I think it got up to something like 2,300, something like that. And I was like, and yeah, I think it was about 2,400 actually, is when I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, if I was home right now, I would sell. Like, why didn't it peak when I was home? Why didn't it do this when I was home?
You can't just call Ellie and talk her through it.
It's like I have to get the passwords and stuff from my old computer that is just sitting in the closet, and I have to work her through.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck it. I'll just hold on to it. But like, if I was, then I would have sold, and then I would have bought back in like a month, 3 months, something like that. But
Yeah. So to the one person who asked you to ask me, conveniently was already thinking about it. By the time this show's out, I might have already sold off. And if anyone is really curious, VET and Ravencoin are probably where I'm going.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that stuff, but okay. Ravencoin. All right.
So that's what I'm gonna go play with. That's what I'm gonna play with, and then I'll hold stuff in there, and then I won't look at it for 5 years, and then I'll be upset about Dogecoin again at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you about Dota?
Yeah, sure.
I know you've been doing it all last week. I know you're doing it for weeks on, and I know it's literally your job. I know that you're gonna stop this podcast, take a shower, and go do more of it for the full day, right?
Yeah.
But I think that I might have a different perspective than the rest of what your work is right now.
Okay. Hit me with it.
So this weekend I was finally able to take a long weekend, sit down, play a bunch of games on the new patch. And I guess I guess I'll pose it to you like this. Wow, stutter fiesta right there. I'm someone who is I would say has an extremely proficient Dota knowledge, but is not like in the top 5%. So I'm probably not most of the people you play with, not the people you talk about, but like just someone vaguely from the community.
The unwashed masses. That's what I like to refer to them as. Yeah.
I would like to think that I'm on at least a soapbox if I'm standing with the masses.
Okay.
I think that the MMR bell curve would prove that, even though I'm uncalibrated right now. But what do you think someone like me is feeling a week into this patch as like the biggest change? Because after I've played games, there is one consistent thing that stands out to me that is really hard to get over or adapt to. What do you think I'm struggling with the most?
My initial reaction is bounty rune timings.
No, because after our conversation last week, I've helped a lot of other people after you helped me
Uh,
with
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, with I'm gonna be so fucking good at counting to threes, um, doing multiples of three. No, what it is for me is that the not the map changes on whole, specifically the tree changes, and specifically even more so to narrow down the area around some of these tier 2 towers and certain parts of the map now feels so claustrophobic.
Yeah, yeah. Tier 2 areas are scary, man.
They're
It's
so
like you go
claustrophobic.
into this. It's funny. It literally, this is how the map goes now. You start in this wide open, happy river, no real trees around. You can see for miles. You approach this tier 1, you've got a nice clearing, not too bad. You go past the tier 1, and it's like a fucking fairy tale, like little Red Riding Hood fucking getting deeper and deeper into this scary forest. Is getting darker and darker, and there's things moving behind every tree and shit like that. Yeah, it's it just closes in on you. It's wild.
I never feel safe, which I'm sure is by design, because now people, if you're attacking a tier 1 and someone is TPing out of vision, you know the small little area they're TPing to. If
Yeah.
you're TPing to, like, I think the one that feels the most egregious to me is Dire Bot tier 2. Like, basically anywhere they want to TP to is the trees. You don't know where anyone is ever.
Yeah.
And it's dark, and wards cover less because of the trees, and I don't think the people I'm playing with know where cool ward spots are yet, because I'm definitely not the one doing warding. That's not my shit. I gotta hit the creeps.
Hmm.
And I just consistently feel unsafe and claustrophobic on the map now, and I actually don't know if I like it. This might be a change that, like, 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, a month, and I'm like, oh, this is normal, this is fine, this is just Dota. But I'm having a stronger negative reaction than I normally am to balance changes. I don't really know why. I don't really know why the change to these trees is really, like, messing with my mojo.
Hmm. Maybe it's in part because you're a carry player. Maybe these changes more affect you as a carry player than other roles, because you're more likely to be the one assaulting tier 2s. Whereas if your tier 2 is being assaulted, you're doing the whole, I'm gonna go hit side lanes, and I'm gonna go farm, and call me if you need me. I'll TP in, but otherwise, don't bother me.
That's probably it. I feel like I definitely play a pretty split pushy Dota from time to time, which means that I often find myself really trying to live on that razor's edge of the lane where the action is. Because I remember Blitz years ago burning into my head the importance of pushing waves. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, oh, I'm just going to push the fuck out of this wave. Oh, hey, I'm at their tier 3. Oops, how'd this happen? But now being alone around those tier 2s when you don't really know where 2, 3 of the enemy heroes are, it's just spooky. It's just like, oh, I don't feel like I can be here anymore. And that's
Yeah.
like a very conscious change, conscientious,
Conscientious.
yeah, change that I need to be making in like my play style and like my game awareness, and
Hmm.
it like gives me an uneasy feeling. It's that feeling of like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Defending tier 2s is definitely, defending towers in general is a lot easier now that they increased the AoE of where you can TP in, and then you include the map changes on top of that. It's I personally think it's nice. It makes the game a little bit more chaotic and less scripted, because defending towers is easier. You don't, good, because there used to be certain towers that you just knew were written off. As long like once you held a certain position, you knew they couldn't fight. You knew like very confidently they're not going to fight. They knew they couldn't fight, so they would just give up the tower. Now it feels like most towers you can fight for, even if the enemy is already set up because your TP options are so various, then it's a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, that's my big note so far. That, and I think I'm having fun playing Dawnbreaker in the off lane the couple of times I got to, but I think it's just because now the
Yeah.
hero's strong, and I might just be having fun because I feel strong.
Yeah. No,
So
she feels super fun, right? She's strong, she's fun, she gets in there, and she's also very good for the meta because teleport scrolls, big change to TP scrolls, and it really affects you. I think it really affects you. Like I'm watching everybody try and buy TP scrolls a whole lot less. Even like it just feels like it's a lot different because it's 100 gold now, and you can save that gold. Usually, like if you die, then are given a TP scroll. So theoretically, you just never have to buy one. And supports have to make this like sports have to be like more efficient with their rotations and stuff. Like sometimes TPing to a lane, not getting a kill and not dying feels terrible because I don't have a TP. That's 100 gold. Like fuck, it
yeah,
sucks.
have you had the pleasure of watching a long one-sided game where people don't teleport much? Either like in your
No,
pubs, maybe this
I don't
happened to
think
you, or
so.
like maybe on stream or something.
Europe tends to be pretty movement based. There's a lot of movement around the
That's
map.
true. Well, one of my games in my shitter bracket was just my team was dying slowly and not very good at Dota or rotations. And I was like ending the game and I'm like, huh, my Shadow Demon has 13 teleport scrolls. Huh. Why
Yeah.
does why does this OD have 7 teleport scrolls? Holy shit, my Phoenix has 20 TPs?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
hey, can you give some of those to me?
Yeah, seriously. Buta Travels feels really good because of the TP scroll change and being on the losing side of like high ground pushes and stuff. Like, they push a tower, you try and defend, you die, and there's nothing for you to TP out to because your team's kind of locked inside your base. You just start racking up TP scrolls. It's like the most useless resource. You're just like, well, at least I have 8 TP scrolls. Like, what am I gonna do with
Oh,
this?
I can teleport from my top barracks to my bottom barracks because it's the only
Yeah,
building left
yeah.
on the map that I have.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I feel like there needs to be a special TP scroll shop. That could be the comeback mechanism, you know? You just you die defending your base enough times, 10 TP scrolls buys you a gem, you know?
So TP scrolls are now like Chuck E. Cheese tickets, where
Yeah.
you turn them into the shop and you're like, "Hey, everybody, sale on wards now."
Yeah, and like most things, like most Chuck E. Cheese token deals, it's like what you can buy is a ripoff, and really they're just trying to take your time and money.
Um, yeah. So I played some games. I did that. I played a sniper game, which I was kind of fucking around with some friends in. I'm like, oh, I want to try out what this new concussive grenade's like. That might be fun,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And I both don't think that hero is shit, but I also played the only game that I've played this patch against PL, and I was really sad.
Yeah, yeah. You just can't play that hero against certain other heroes. It's why he's like so rarely picked. is that when he's good, he's like he has to be overwhelmingly strong because he has so many matchups that are just dog shit. So
Dude, I was like, oh,
did the shard feel good though? It felt good, right?
it's really hard to. If someone is in melee range of you, the knockback effect on yourself can kick the people the same direction as you and doesn't always work.
I actually, when I was fucking around with it, I never actually did that. So
Yeah. I thought it would be like a really cool disengage mechanism for like,
yeah,
oh, like, this is an answer to like, oh, fuck, they picked a spirit breaker against me. Or like, oh man, there's, I don't know, an axe doesn't make sense. Maybe like a PL, like, something that I just need just a little bit of get away from, right? And using it as a defensive item against melee heroes just seemed to not be working half the time, because if they were positioned just like, it seemed like 1 or 2 pixels to the side, I would just kick them the same way I was being kicked and just bring the fight closer to somewhere else. But I'm still dying. So I still don't know. I still don't know if that shard is solved yet.
I think it's legit, but I haven't played a ton of sniper. I've been going on a bit of experimental run, and sniper has not been one of those heroes I've touched just yet. I've been playing support Tinker. I have been playing Hoodwink and trying to figure out where that hero. I'm convinced that hero actually sucks. It's that's what I've settled on. I think there's a reason why we're not seeing it picked up in a bunch of DPC matches just yet. I don't think it's because players are uncomfortable with the hero or anything like that. I actually think the hero just kind of sucks because
How
I
do you
don't
play
think it's
it?
quite.
Because like
I don't
it's
think
not
it's
strong enough to be a core, right? But it's also like weird as a support.
Yeah, like I don't feel like it scales quite well enough to be a core, and it's like very glass can like somebody gets on top of you, you're just dead. So as a core, it feels weird, right? Like maybe it like 2 position, but your like ultimate got nerfed so much, like the damage got nerfed, but the vision really sucks. So your ultimate is everything. It's like so much of your damage. So if you just miss, or they have a hero that is able to dodge it in some way, then you just feel really, really bad. So I feel like it's not quite dependable enough to be a core. And as a 4 position, it like I when I played 2 games that I played very well. I lost one of those games and won the other. But I felt like for how well I was playing, the impact I was getting out of the hero was maybe average, maybe above average for a normal 4 position. It's like I was hitting great fucking W's, and I was actually hitting my shots on my R button, but even though I was playing great, the impact that I felt was not great. And
Like you
that
could have
that
had
says a lot.
more impact playing a mediocre shaman game or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that says a lot about the hero to me. And I think the biggest problem as a 4 position is you don't kill creep waves. Acorn shot does garbage damage. It does no fucking damage. If you use both your maxed out Q and your maxed out W, I think by like 15 minutes or something like that, the creep wave is strong enough to survive through it. So you use 2 abilities. You hit all of the creeps, and you're going to get like 2 CS. It feels so bad in that regard. The fact that you can't clear creep waves. If you could clear creep waves, then like maybe it would be better. Maybe it would feel a lot better. But like as it stands, when I'm getting like 2 creeps out of that combo, and I can't like stick, it just for gameplay wise, like you can't stick around hitting a creep wave for that long.
Yeah.
You just have to understand that, right? So it's like if I just need to be able to throw my abilities and go. And if that doesn't kill all the creeps, then like if I'm missing like 3-4 creeps, I'm missing like 60% of the gold that's available out of that creep wave. It just feels terrible. So I'm convinced that hero is not good. I'm convinced that Tinker support is actually kind of legit.
Uh huh.
Um,
How so?
the damage that you do is insane. Heat-seeking missile costs 80 mana and does 125 damage. Obviously, it can hit 2 targets, so that's 250 damage potentially. But just that alone, 80 mana, 125 damage. That feels really good in lane. And then laser is an incredible ability. It's pure damage, and it causes them to miss. So you trade really well with heroes. And then you get this awkward point, but eventually you get bots. So as a 5 position, you're able to deal with side lanes, which is really powerful. And you pick up a bottle, and you just bots in, you give people bottle hits. It's like infinite sustain, you know?
That's fun.
You keep doing that, and you spam heat-seeking missile, and it's like this war of attrition where you're taking away their HP, and they feel bad, and you're giving your allies HP and mana and stuff, and they feel good. And it's just like they can never take long, drawn-out fights or any kind of weird sieging situations are all bad.
So when am I going to see it picked up in a pro game?
I don't know. No-Tail was playing it. That's why I played it. So we'll see if OG actually take that up at all. I feel like it's very hit or miss, though. It when it feels strong, it feels strong. When it feels bad, when you lose the landing phase, it feels
when it feels
shit.
Strong. Is it because you're like a 5 position who suddenly like is almost kind of a little bit becoming a core because you're
it's because if my landing phase goes well enough, I naturally can get Boots of Travel. But if your landing phase doesn't go well enough, you don't get March of the Machines with the support Tinker build because your other abilities are so strong for team fights and stuff. So you don't have good farming mechanisms. And you also typically don't have the space as a 5 position to be able to farm. You don't like clear a creep wave with your maxed out nukes, right? So you can't do what I was talking about with Hoodwink, right? Which is just being able to throw abilities and run. You know, like that's how you get farm as a support. Clear a creep wave and go. That you can't do that as Tinker. You take up too much space in that regard. So it's like you don't naturally get Boots of Travel, and Boots of Travel is where like your mid-game progression flows from, is being able to get back and forth on a team fights by bottling people. Defense Matrix is super legit. That's another reason why it feels good. Like once you get to late game as well, then you're giving people Defense Matrix and bottle hits and shit, and it's insane.
I played a really good Luna game that I was kind of happy about.
Did you get the shard?
In the one, yeah. I'm convinced that I don't know if Luna was helped that much or if I just had a good matchup. But it feels like it has the potential to like be a hero that's like a carry that fits in, mostly because of the mobility right now. I always just like playing heroes that have high move speed. It just feels good. I don't know what to do in these games where I'm up against PL though, because my brain goes, well, I think I should probably just play Sven, but my Sven is not nearly as good. I wouldn't even call it like my top 7 1 positions. I feel like my Sven MMR is lower than almost all my other carry MMRs. So like, what the fuck do I do? Play Leshrek?
Play Phantom Monster. Play what other carries look to feel pretty good? Wraith King feels alright. Razor feels okay. You play Razor?
I love Razor. I generally play Razor when I have to play mid because I don't like playing mid, and he's a hero that I know how to play kind of well.
Razor is like my brain dead carry for this patch potentially. Every game, every patch, I have a brain dead carry, right? Spectre, Wraith King, like those are brain dead carries. You do not need to be good at the carry position to play those heroes. Very straightforward. Razor might be my brain dead carry for this game because I feel like semi cores feel pretty nice. Just winning lanes feels really good.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do against PL. I truly I'm having this block that I don't really know what to do against that hero. I should maybe try and play more Leshrek.
Hero's really strong, but yeah, safe lane Leshrek. That definitely helps for sure.
I don't know. I'll figure something out. Or I mean, I've actually just started banning the hero every game.
Yeah, that's another play.
But
ban
like,
it
what
or
happened?
pick it yourself. There,
what changed?
easy.
What really changed to make it feel like, oh, this hero's like kind of whatever, to like, oh fuck, this hero is what happened. I actually can't track in my brain what changed.
Other carries are worse. That's one thing. So that's like certain AoE heroes are worse than they used to be. And then I would say that Phantom Lancer from last patch was actually good. He just wasn't as good as some of the other carries. So, like, his shard is super legit. I think people are still, in some ways, neglecting how good the shard is.
It's probably where I'm at. It's almost certainly where I'm at.
Yeah. But I think he did get some nerfs on the B patch, I believe.
I think so, but I'm also not looking at the patch notes, so I cannot. I'm not gonna fact check you there, because
yes, man, they changed a lot. Oh my god, they hit him really hard. He lost a base armor. He lost 2 base damage. They reduced the agility bonus of Phantom Rush. They hurt the shard really badly. They nerfed the shard by a bunch of numbers. His talents, he now has the 16% evasion, went from his level 10 talent to his level 25 talent. That's how fucking busted that talent was. His Ice Frog's like, wait a minute. That shouldn't be a 10 talent at all. That's a late game talent.
Yeah, imagine not hitting the hero at all at like 10 minutes into the game.
It's fucking wild. So 16% evasion is now 150 health, which like technically could be better in some games, but 16% evasion is pretty insane as you reach the 20, 25, 30 minutes of the game. Nobody's 25 or anything like that. Like that evasion talent is really good because MKB is such a long ways away. And the only other thing that provides True Strike is Witchblade, item-wise. Witchblade is the only other one, and that is Witchblade's debuff should be dispellable. So Phantom Lancer naturally deals with it. Plus, it's a single target deal, so you very likely don't have to worry about it in the first place.
Well, I got to figure out what my carry rotation is going to be. If I'm going to start grinding games in this patch and doing more of it. I think it might involve Luna. I think it might involve Razor. It always involves CK, so I don't really count that, which I actually do think feels pretty okay right now. But
yeah, I feel like you say that every patch, though.
Yeah, because it is consistently always over 52% win rate.
Yeah. Okay.
I only pick it last in the good matchups, so I only play it when it feels good.
Is that why everybody has? Is that why it's a 52%? Because Chaos Knight players only pick it when it's a good Chaos Knight game.
That's probably somewhat true. At least the people who know how the hero works. It is, you cannot play into PL though. It's actually like crazy. So.
Oh, funniest thing about this patch, Pudge is back.
How so?
Good old Pudge is slightly back in the meta. Both Arkosh and EG. So it's a North American thing for now, but it is definitely a 4 position. It's definitely a 4 position. That's how Crit played it. The shard is really legit. You just eat somebody. It's like a hard counter to like a lot of different things. In the EG game, it was a hard counter to Legion Commander. Now, I don't think this is going to be like mainstream 4 position, but the fact that it's being picked up at all in professional games says something.
I don't want to throw any shade onto the NADPC because, Evil Geniuses, second best team in the world, North America, second best region in the world. Am I right? Am I right? Like, yeah. Obviously. What team did EJ pick Pudge against?
The Cut.
The
formerly lower division team who got second, now upper division team. And they also picked, the Cut also picked Legion Commander. People keep on trying to pick Legion Commander. God, there are certain heroes. Legion Commander and Sand King are the 2 that come to mind that, like, like every patch, maybe you get some buffs, and you're like, this hero, maybe it's good. And it's just like, God, I really hope they rework their kits at some point in time because they just feel consistently underwhelming.
Legion Commander feels okay.
Yeah. It's a Chaos Knight counter. It feels okay.
Actually, no, it's. I mean, not really.
All right. Well,
It's yeah. I'm telling you, Chaos Knight counters are it's PL and Jakira. Everything else is fine.
okay.
Take my word on it. Yeah, I let's see Crit play it against any other team. Give me a 3-game sample size.
Okay.
Before we start saying that.
I'll be on the lookout for that third game. I will keep all the regions. I will keep an eye on all of the regions, Joey.
Thank you. I know that you're not doing enough
just for this
Dota work right now. So,
yeah, I'm doing hosting. It's like Dota work light. It's more work but less analysis. It's less research but more work. If that makes sense.
You casted the Liquid Alliance game.
Yes, I also did that. I put out my
only game you casted. That's the only series that I watched so far.
I casted one other game.
Okay.
I cast 2 games a week. So basically, the Dream League days, today and tomorrow, I get to cast some Dream League games. So I panel and cast, and then we start getting into ESL stuff. So then I'm doing the hosting. So it's hosting is it's going all right.
Does that mean that you know more about the CIS teams since you kind of have to host better?
No. If anything, it means the opposite. Hosting means that I have to do less research because I have to pose the questions to my analysts. So if I don't know something, it doesn't matter because it's not on me to know these things. It's on my analyst to know these things. Now, of course, I do, and I still do research, but like I every single time I do my research, I feel like I don't have to go as extensive. I feel like I don't have to learn something very special about this team because that is what I do as an analyst is like in order to tell part of the story of this team, I want to learn a nice, good, juicy fact about them or one of their players or go back through their history of some kind of way. Like I want something. And as a host, I don't need to do that. I need to focus much more on the technical aspect of broadcasting. So I need to focus on like, what is my intro for today going to be? It's actually very annoying hosting, honestly. Like hosting for like day in, day out for these sort of things. Cause like every single, like no day, there are very few days that feel special. So every day you're just like open. You're like, all right, what's my intro? That they're gonna do the fucking one camera shot just on me to open the show. I have to say some things. What am I gonna be saying today? I don't know. Figure that out while I'm there at the studio, and then they're gonna fucking open the panel and stuff. I'm gonna bring on the guests. Hey, come on in. So I need like another little thing I have to figure out that I'm gonna say at the second start of the show before I bring on the panelists. And then I need to figure out what the topic is for today. What are we going to bullshit about for like 10 minutes? So then we can get the opening panel segment done. And then we can finally start getting into the actual games and interviews and stuff like that. But it's like more work, less research.
Everything that you're talking about right now sounds like the easy part to me. And the hard part is the thing that you're really good at, which is the Dota casting, that I could literally never do. But everything you just talked about is like, oh yeah, like we could do that.
All right, write my content for me, Joey.
Send me a message. It'll be fine.
I'll just read off my note card.
You should.
What's the topic of the? Okay, give me a topic for today, Joey. What should I talk about with? Actually not today because I'm casting, I'm not hosting, but like the next time that I open ESL, what are we going to talk about?
Alexei Navalny.
All right, you're not in charge of these subjects anymore. Listen, I know Valve changed the DPC from the CIS division to the Eastern European division. I know we did that. That was a soft power move by Valve and everything, but I think ESL ones and MTG and DreamHack specifically do not want to court that political nonsense. All right. It is still a primarily Russian player competition, even if we say Eastern European.
It's true. It's true. It's funny. I'll look at some story.
What do you actually no? Legitimately, why do you think Valve did that? Why do you think Valve changed it from Western European to Eastern European?
If I had to guess, I would say that there is a person on the team who feels strongly about it, either from the stance of a progressive social justice lens, or maybe that is their area of origin and they might be a little more tuned into what's going on, and then they just said, hey, 3 other people who work at Valve on Dota, I would like to make this change. And then the other 3 people who work on Dota go, sure, that makes sense to me. And they did it. I bet that's what happened. That it's 1, maybe 2 people who had a strong feeling about something. Which is a boring answer to your question where I could have said anything.
I mean, is CIS just like an outdated term?
I don't know.
I feel like it's mostly because of just Ukraine. Because seriously, you go back through, you look at these players, Russian, Moldovan. Okay, that's still CIS. Russian, Kyrgyzstan, CIS. They are still in the CIS. Belarus, CIS. Kazakhstan, CIS actually.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't know.
Okay, that is all the nationalities outside of Ukraine. Obviously, there are a number of Ukrainian players, if I had to guess, upwards of like 10. But like everybody else is like very literally CIS. And I'm not even sure what Ukraine counts and would do. I don't know what actually they are in the context of CIS. So
that doesn't necessarily bother me.
But isn't it like, I feel like 70% of the players there and the regions they come from, do they count as Eastern European? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, aren't they still East? Like, if you look
they
at
are
it from
East of Europe?
like a continental perspective, yes.
Well, Russia, there's no way you count Russia as Eastern Europe. And I'm fairly certain a number of these countries you don't include either, but
I mean,
I'm just saying it's such a very specific. I feel like it's a very specific fuck you in a industry, like in a context that like it's like a mouse. It's the mouse being like fuck you to the lion. Like whoa, like why you got beef with the lion? He doesn't notice you. He doesn't know who the fuck you are. He doesn't notice your middle finger in the air.
What if all of the Russian players are actually in the European part of Western Russia, and none of them are in Asia?
I mean, that's probably true. Most of the population in Russia is on the Western side of things, but it's just weird because it fucks up the way we talk about it all the time because it's the Eastern European DPC now. But like when you refer to the players, you can't call them Eastern European. You just can't. The CIS region, right? The CIS players, that is the history of Dota. That is how you identify their play style. the group, the part of the group of players, the community, the CIS community. Like, you can't call it the Eastern European community. They're speaking Russian.
I don't know. I definitely don't. The argument of like that's the way it was, or like that's Dota history, doesn't really work on me. I'm like, well, we can always just change that if there's a better word, right? I think the argument of like,
Sure, but the better word is not Eastern European. That is the opposite of being like, well, we can't do it history. We have to do what they are. That's the opposite of doing what they are. That's a fucking. I don't even know what the comparison I would do to make for that.
probably one that we'd have to cut out of the show.
That's like you asking me to for you to call me Native American because I'm like 10% or some shit. Like, I'm literally just making something up at that point, you know? Like, no way in my identity is associated with being Native American in any slight of things, you know? It's just like glossing over the fucking real parts, the reality of the situation. Yeah, they're Eastern European. They're Russian.
I want to see the blog post about this.
I would love to see the blog post of Valve condemning Putin.
I mean, that'd be fun.
And therefore their DPCs. That's the thing, is that's so weird that like I in some ways I can't think that is the reason that they're doing it. Because it's such an odd statement to make. It's so fucking out of left field. Is there an advantage to having Western Europe and Eastern Europe? Is there some branding advantage there?
I mean, probably not, right? Like, it's only more confusing. It's like potentially more inclusive, but like less descriptive, which I don't know where you're supposed to lie on that spectrum. I don't know. I guess now I want to know. I wasn't thinking about it, but now I'm thinking about it too much.
I mean, I've had to think about it every single day because I have to call it the Eastern European Division, but simultaneously I can't call the players Eastern European because that's just not. That's just false.
Can you say like EUE, which is like EUE?
EUE.
Hey guys, welcome to the EUE broadcast. That's Eastern European Union.
Yeah, no. Meanwhile, Shiver's just, she's over there. It's the European DPC. Because it's much easier just not to put West in there.
Because it's implied, basically.
Yeah. And all our graphics are old, and they say CIS because at the start of ESL 1, it was called CIS or something like that. And it still says Season 1. They still have pictures of, like, we're talking about how, like, the one team kicked a player, they kicked their mid laner, Pikachu, he's gone, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see the graphic and I see the team pictures and I see front at the very primary spot, right in the middle, on the front of the triangle, the flying V is Pikachu right there.
That's when you take your notes and you go walk over to the big screen and like you cover it up and you make a bit out of it.
Oh, I had Robson. I had Robson look up a picture of the new guy, FN, and I was like, at some point in time, you should take your tablet and just with the blown up picture, just put it in front of Pikachu's face.
It's funny. It's kind of a fuck you to production, but also like, how are they starting season 2 without updated graphics?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, there wasn't enough time.
There's always enough time for graphics, and unfortunately that time is 2 a.m. often. But that's what happens when you got to make TV, am I right? Show must go on. I guess no one really cares. Man. I guess no one really cares is part of the problem. I do care, though, about the rest of your workday and the fact that you have to go cast some Dota. Who's on the docket for today?
I don't know.
Great. Good, solid promotion.
I do my research. I never do my research like the night before or anything like that. So I always don't know the matchup. So today is Secret versus Smashers. which Secret did lose a game to Enigma, so who the fuck knows?
Was that because
And
Secret
then
was
it's
playing icky, or is that because I mean I know the first game against them was kind of interesting because there was like a puppy Veto jungle thing, but like was Secret actually playing bad that game, or was Enigma just like, oh, does this make sense? Does
yeah,
ILTW look good?
I think both teams were not in top form, but I think Enigma's actually quite legit. And Secret new patch just came back from Singapore Major. You know, I think there's a higher likelihood of underdog teams getting upset matches in this first week when the teams who are at the major just came back. There's a new patch. There's like a lot of reasons for
They
teams
want
not
to
to
break.
do
They're
so well.
traveling. They're not together. They just did a really
Yeah.
stressful thing for a while. There's a patch.
And then Alliance versus OG is also today. Is there not? There should be another match. I don't know why that. What? There should be another match, but it's probably a lower division match. That's what it is. There's a lower division match. Nobody cares about that, so I won't even tell you what that is. So yeah, those are the matchups. I believe I'm casting one of those and paneling the other. I don't know which.
Well, I guess we can break down a little bit of EU DPC once we get another round of groups under our wings before next week. Because I don't know what I can tell you that hasn't already been posted on Reddit 5 times. Wow, Anna did a thing. Isn't he okay at DOTA? Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Bram won a game. Does anyone think they're going to make it out of the group, or they're going right back to lower division? See you later, Hellboys.
I'm the only person in my predictions who didn't put Smashers and Brame in the bottom two. I think this season has the potential for a lot of upset. I don't know what teams are going to upset the hierarchy, but I believe that Secret will not be top, will not be first, and I believe that a little less likely, but I believe there's a pretty solid chance that the bottom two teams are not the teams from the lower division. Again, patch teams out of practice because of the major and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of potential for upset here.
Yeah, I feel that too. And that swaying, rocking boat just gives me that much more anxiety anytime that I gotta tune into a Liquid broadcast.
Oh, yes. Liquid will also be having a stand-in, so that's another reason to be slightly concerned. So we'll see how Liquid does. I don't know.
Anxiety high. High Joey anxiety right now.
If they don't make it to the major, are you like, is that like, what are you anxious about? Them not making it to the major or them not staying in upper division?
It does you know what? I am not worried that they're gonna get knocked out. I think something would have to go incredibly wrong for that to happen. But the thing is, it's possible. I think there is literally zero chance that like Secret are the team that is bottom two, right?
Sure.
There's almost zero chance that Nigma is the team that's bottom two. Maybe any other team could be, and it wouldn't be that big of a surprise. And I know how much of a variance Liquid could have. So if they hit like a 7, I'd be like, well, that makes sense. But I'd be really surprised if it happened. I'm anxious about them not making the major. I'm anxious about them not making TI because I intend to go on TI with or without the team being there. And one of them is a work trip and one of them is a pleasure trip, right?
Save you a whole lot of money if they could go ahead and qualify.
Yes.
That's fair. I also plan to going on TI no matter what. But yes, one is a work trip and the other is for fun. I always hope it's a work trip.
Yeah, the even the stand-up thing is spooky. But
Well, good luck. They have to play against Enigma this week, so not today, but tomorrow.
That's fine.
So,
Maybe the honeymoon's over and they'll find out
yikes.
that ILTW isn't great.
Hmm. Doubt.
Fuck.
Didn't I say that last time? Didn't I say that ILTW was like he
You
may
were
not be the most impressive player, but what they need is a solid rock for Miracle to go do things. Not every
you
team needs 5 superstars.
you were hot on Nigma and pretty lukewarm on OG. But then, if I remember correctly, didn't you on your predictions graphic that got shared across the internet way more than it probably should have said that OG was going to
Oh
be good?
yeah. They fucking Dream League asked us to do predictions, and then they go ahead and put out those predictions like after week 1 is done. And it's like, well, shit. Now my prediction looks really dumb. The basis of my prediction is I don't know who's going to be on top, but I do know there's going to be an upset. Whether it's Nigma or OG on top, I don't know. Whether it's Alliance or Liquid being knocked down to lower division, I don't know. But I do believe there is going to be a mix up. And I predicted according to that. You know, who's going to get knocked down? I think it's harder to say who's going to get knocked down. That is just totally like RNG because you don't have scrim information, you don't have any of that stuff. So it's like, who the fuck knows? Is Alliance really shit because they suffered at the Singapore Major? That was my basis. I was like, fuck it. If I'm literally going to choose one of the teams to go down, am I going to choose Tundra? I don't think so. I think Tundra was actually pretty legit last season. I think they're just going to be more legit this season. So I'm not choosing them to get knocked out. Liquid, yeah, they go back and forth, but like they've proved that their ceiling is very high, and they have had consistently good results. Again, top 8 throughout the quarantine period. So there's one thing. Alliance just bottomed out at the Singapore Major. If I'm going to choose anybody
Hard.
besides Smasher and Brain to get knocked out, why wouldn't I choose them? You know, and if I'm going to choose one team that's going to go on some crazy run right before TI, why wouldn't it be OG? You know, Nigma has ILTW, who knows? But like OG has Anna. Is there any doubt that Anna's going to be good? No, Anna's going to be good.
Imagine
Is
just
OG
not
going to be
playing
good? I
Dota.
don't know.
Imagine just not playing Dota for that long and coming back and just still being one of the best people in the world. It's so gross.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Pretty
Yeah,
gross.
some people are just like that. Some people can achieve being the absolute best if they put their mind to it. And other people grind and grind and work and work and work and still lose in the lower division. Like my boy Dendy. Let me just say, Dendy has been an absolute failure for years now. And I am not joking when I say I find him to be incredibly inspiring. I think what Dendy has done of just like he just keeps going. He doesn't stop. No matter how fucking bad it gets. Like it is humiliating at this point in time how far down that he has gone down in when it comes to the tiers. He used to be top of the world, and Bait and like his career and then Bait also just seemed to somehow get worse and worse and worse. And he just keeps going. And I think that's so inspiring. I think it's really cool that he's still out there trying hard. I cheer for him every single time I see him because it's like it would be such a good story if he could turn it all around. I don't think he will, but if he could, that would be amazing because like he could do whatever he wants. He could fucking be like, fuck it, you know, like I care about my legacy or whatever. I want to go out while people still think of me as a legend and stuff like that. And he could just stream, be talent. He could be a full-time streamer and like not even play Dota and people would love him. He could just purely do fucking sponsorship stuff for like the next 5 years and be good. That man is marketable beyond any other name in esports or any other name in Dota, let's say. And like he can do whatever he wants, but he chooses to actively try and compete and try and get back to being the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's absolutely inspiring, and I wish him the absolute best. And they managed to
And
beat
he
No
takes other
Techie.
people with him too. Like right now, like you can. I would argue that just being around some of his experience is good for people, even if they're not on the best team.
Yeah. I mean, he gets people paid most likely because he's so marketable that his team is then marketable. And I'm sure they have, I know they were getting paid more money than they should have initially with that team. And so he's getting other people paid for trying to play Dota. So, yeah. Dindy's dope.
Well, Dendy's dope. You're dope. I'm gonna call myself dope because I can do that. It's all
You're
about
dope.
positivity this week. And
Yeah.
you listening are dope. Thank you for hanging out with us this week.
Yeah.
We will be back next week to talk a little bit more about the EU DPC, talk about how silly cast predictions look afterward, to talk about if you figure out how to host that show, right? To talk about if you figured out how to replace the Pikachu graphic, which isn't his job, and to see if Joey stopped being scared of hitting two-tier. Can I retake that?
Towers?
Can we go
No.
again? Cool.
No, that's stuck.